News Radio 840 WHAS coming up on today's Louisville Real Estate Show. Do you have to give out your social security number when you go to a closing? We've got one listener who says, I don't want to do that. Also, what should you have your home inspected for? Earthquakes? Possible problems? We'll talk about that. And there is a new report out. First room, burglars check for valuables when they break into your house. Ooh. Hi, everybody. Bob Sokoler, the owner of the Sokoler team at RE/MAX Properties. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here till the top of the hour. And with us for today's show, we'll start with Cora Henderson. She is one of the head honchos over at Pitt and Frank Attorneys, LLC. They do a great job at closings and a number of other things, but they're very accurate, and they do what they say they're going to do. They're going to get your loan closed. You can reach Cora and the folks over there at 895-9900. Also, a very busy man, Brad Lawler. He's the owner of Home Team Inspection Service. They come in as a team, and they do a great job, but he also owns Team Bug Out. So if you need your home inspected or if you've got termite problems and beyond, the guy to talk to is Brad and his team, and you can reach Home Team Inspection Service at 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, I would love to help you. I really would. I do this daily. It's a full-time job. I have done it now 20 years. No home too big, no home too small. I'm in Southern Indiana and Louisville and surrounding areas. You can reach me on my cell phone, and I try to answer it day and night. 376-5483. That's my direct cell. Or go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, and we'll take it from there. Just hit enter. And if you want a free evaluation of what your home is worth immediately, you can go to wesellouisville.com and click on the top of the page, and that will get you an instant computerized analysis of your home's value. All right, guys, it's funny. I say I answer my phone all the time. I don't know if Brad and Corey, you have this problem, but because I do that, I get a lot of spam calls, and I'm constantly, and it's terrible. I wish there was, the only way to do it is to let it go to voicemail, but I don't want to miss a client. So anyway, I'm sure a lot of folks who are listening to us right now are saying, yep, happening to me too. I hear there's some movement in the works that may solve that, hopefully sooner than later with robocalls. All right. Let's go to our first question. We'll go over to Cora Henderson at Pitt and Frank LLC. Lorna is writing in. She says, Cora, she's a very private person. She says, I'm in the process of selling a house. I'm being asked by someone who claims to be a closing attorney to give them my social security number. She says, I am not happy with that. What are my rights? Cora?
Oh, Lorna, I completely understand. I, too, am a very private person. And, I think that pays you to be very cautious this day and age, especially, with certain private personal information. Social Security is kind of at the top of the list, right? I mean, we have to see all the time and hear these stories about identities being stolen and, people's credit being ruined and so on and so forth. So I am right there with you. Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to selling your house, we do need your social security number. So let me tell you why. And then I want to give you some suggestions on maybe some good ways to protect yourself and safeguard in providing that social security number and other personal information to your closing attorney. So why do we need it? Well, whether you're buying or selling, we need it for a couple of different reasons. The first one would be to clear any liens. So when we run a title exam and there are liens that may show up on title, we first and foremost have to process those liens to see if they actually are a match to our particular customers. Now, the best way to do that, the most accurate way, and really the only way to be certain, because there are lots of similar names these days, is to use the social security number to verify. Now, that social security number is not a part of the records. It's not a part, of what we find on the lien that's been recorded. But when we call the lien holder to verify whether or not that's a match for our customer, and therefore we may need to pay off at closing to clear that lien, we have to provide the social to see if that's a match. Also, we have to check bankruptcy lines. So we use the social security number to ensure that neither buyer or seller is in active bankruptcy, because we would have to comply with that in the event that they were. Lastly, as it relates to you, sounds like you're selling your house. We have to have the social to report for capital gains eligibility. So we have requirements with the IRS, just like you do. And so we have to report eligible real estate closings and transactions for sales. We report with the name and the taxpayer identification number. So if it's an individual, it's going to be that social security number. Now, what are safe ways to convey that information? we have had people that did not prefer to use the portal for that type of sensitive information. I certainly wouldn't be emailing it. Please don't do that. And real estate agents, they don't want your personal information either. So some safe ways that you can do that. One, if it's a local closing attorney, and I would definitely recommend, using local businesses, walk into their office, look at them face to face, provide that information there to them. That way you're not counting on electronic means to communicate that personal information. If you do want to do a phone call, maybe it's not convenient for you to go in person, use their trusted number, and you can verify that, with a simple Google search, verify that with your real estate agent. Hey, is this the number for Pitt and Frank or whoever is doing your real estate closing? And then you can call them and provide that, orally, as opposed to having to send that by electronic means. Last method that you may want to do is just inquire as to whether or not they do have a secure portal. We use the Qualia portal in our office, and that's a national software. There are other companies that use different ones, but just ask questions on how they safeguard your information. So, Lorna, I hope that helps.
Good detailed answer. Very good, Cora. Thank you on that. A reminder, you can rehear that answer if we got you interested. And also to see the entire show, go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's LouisvilleAnswers.com. It's a redirect to our YouTube channel where this video and audio will reside. And also a reminder, if you want to hear and see what sellers are saying about us, you can go to LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. That's LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. Brad Lawler over at Home Team Inspection Service. Tyler just moved here from California, where he says in this email they have inspections for everything from sewers to earthquake protection. Tyler says he's going to buy a home next year, but he's being told by friends that he should purchase earthquake insurance and probably will do that. But he's wondering, are there any other problems people in Louisville and Southern Indiana experience that he should have an inspection for before buying a home? I bought earthquake insurance, and we are in a fault line, right, Brandon? Isn't that the case?
We're close. Yeah. Yeah, we're close. Now, we don't have the construction techniques here don't follow many of the California construction techniques. The way that they have earthquake straps, water heaters are strapped down and different things are done. We don't have those building techniques here. So, primarily we're looking for any sort of structural damage, cracks in, the concrete walls. That's the primary thing. But as it relates to an earthquake inspection, we don't have that here. What we deal with primarily, when you get beyond just the normal kind of things that go, with your home inspection, we have ancillary services that are added. The thing that most people add will be the termite inspection or the wood destroying insect inspection. About 80% of buyers will have that done, and there are 28 colonies per acre in our area. So every property is going to have termites on it. It's just whether or not they've gotten in the house. The second most common one is the radon inspection, the radon test, whether the house has a mitigation system in it or not. About 55% of people will get the radon inspection. What you're doing there is you're just checking the air quality in the home to make sure that you don't have elevated radon levels, because 53% of the homes, according to EPA, have elevated radon here. The next most common additional inspections, just because of the type of climate that we're in, are mold inspections. Home Team does. We're doing probably about 200 of those assessments every single year, both for buyers as well as for sick homes and for commercial property owners. But that is a common thing just because of the allergies that we have. A lot of people want the home tested for mold just to make sure that their water sources coming into the home, leaky roof, leaky wall, leaky foundation, hasn't caused mold to elevate in the home where it may cause some sort of illness. So those are the primary. There's a lot of other things, lead-based paint testing, asbestos testing, indoor air quality for total volatile organic compounds or VOCs. Sewer inspections, as you mentioned, new construction, they probably ought to do a sewer inspection just to make sure that the line hasn't been collapsed by the heavy equipment running over it. Older homes, you're going to want to check, particularly if you've got a lot of trees, on the lot. So yeah, there are a lot of additional inspections that can be done as part of it, but it primarily falls into that, radon, termite, and maybe mold as the most common, with sewer probably right behind that.
Did we hear you say there were 28 colonies of termites every acre?
Per acre. Yeah.
Wow.
So you think the average Louisville lot probably has 8 or 9 termite colonies on it. Again, they're eating old stumps, and they're considered to be a beneficial insect because they eat they take care of all the dead stuff that's in the ground. The problem is when they get in your house.
Yikes. Yes, That's a big problem. All right. Well, another thorough answer. Good stuff there, folks. We are going to take a break. A reminder, if you want to see what people are saying about our Sokoler team, you can go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com to read our reviews. And when we come back, there's a new report out. The first room that burglars will check for your valuables if they break into your home. I know that's a problem, especially as we head towards the holiday season. Continuing with us, and we'll be checking back with them. Cora Henderson, Pitt and Frank Attorneys, LLC. You can reach Cora and the folks to schedule a closing, and you can pick the closing attorney that you want. 895-9900. Also, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service, and Team Bug Out. They come in as a team. You can reach Brad and his folks at 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, I'd love to be able to help you. It's me. I come out for the sell part, and we will talk about it. It's free, no obligation. All you got to do is give me a call. We can discuss the process. 376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com. And for a free analysis of what your home is worth, go to wesellouisville.com and click at the top of the page. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, here with you till the top of the hour. Thank you so much, Barbara Corcoran, for your mentorship of being a friend and an advisor, trusted advisor. You can see Barbara on Shark Tank, and also over, I think CNBC has the reruns of Shark Tank, and she is everything you see on TV, sharp and very quick-witted. So you got to really be present when you talk to her. Continuing with us to the top of the hour, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. They come in as a team. You can reach Brad for inspections of your home, even pre-inspections, and also termite problems and other bug problems. 844-411-TEAM. Also staying with us, Cora Henderson. She is one of the head folks over at Pitt and Frank Attorneys, LLC. They do a great job of getting your loan closed at the closing table, and they do a lot of other things. You can reach Cora at 895-9900. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I would love to help you. Give me a buzz on my phone, even today on a Sunday. You can reach me, 376-5483. Free, no obligation. We'll talk on the phone or in person. It's me. I come out. And you can also go to bobsellslouisville.com and fill out that form and hit submit. And also, if you want a free analysis of what your home is worth, go to wesellouisville.com and click on the top of the page. You may not know this, over 1 million American homes are burglarized each year, according to the FBI statistics that are available. Theft is nothing anyone hopes for, but it doesn't hurt to plan for the worst case scenario by starting to know how burglars think. So we're looking at some of the things that burglars will go to if they break into your home. Now, full disclosure, my home was broken into, my previous home, 2017. I had Nest cameras running. I still have the video of the burglars going through it. I supplied it to the police. They never caught these folks, but they're still on the lookout for them. It can happen. I ended up putting in a wall safe. You can go to Amazon, for example, and buy these wall safes. Not too difficult you cut into the drywall and there you go. You put it in. But some of the places that burglars will look for your valuables: under mattresses, in a bedroom closet, in dresser drawers. So if any of these are resonating with you folks, it's time to rethink where you're hiding or putting valuables, cash, diamond jewelry, things like that. If you have a portable safe, they try to get it or take it and then destroy it somewhere else to get into it. So that's why one that goes into the wall, they're not going to really get into that unless they're really looking to do some damage. So those portable ones, they can pick them up and take them with them. They'll look in a medicine cabinet. Oh, my goodness. And how many people put stuff in there thinking, oh, it's safe. They'll never look there. A freezer. Do you put your stuff in a freezer? They're going to look there. Office drawers. If you have a office, you put it in your drawer there, and they're going to look. If you have a vase, they may just smash the vase or vase just to see if anything's in there, or turn it upside down. I mean, these are things that they've been interviewed burglars who are in jail, and this is what came back. Also, a liquor cabinet, they'll look in there. And finally, a suitcase. If you hide it in a suitcase, think again, because burglars are ahead of you. They're going to look there as well. So those are some of the things of where burglars check first when they break into your home. Hopefully that never happens to you. We go back to Cora Henderson over at Pitt and Frank LLC for our next question. Again, you can email me, bob@wesellouisville.com, and I will put your questions on the air. That's what happened here. Richard says he owns a condominium on Zorn Avenue, and he says the unit above leaked. We hear this every once in a while. The water was shut off, but not before doing $10,000 in damage to his condo. He says, I have to replace some of the drywall, carpet, at least 3 cabinets in the kitchen. So he's wondering, Cora, who's responsible for reimbursing him, Richard, for the money that he's laying out? The condo association, the condo owner above, or his insurance? What does he do? Corey?
Good question.
Yeah.
That has to be beyond frustrating. So, it depends. That's my short answer is it depends. I would like to think, of course, the first call should be to your homeowner's insurance and to your agent and ask appropriate questions.
Mhm.
Perhaps they help facilitate that with the other unit owner's insurance and or the condo association's insurance. If you've, God forbid, you've ever been in a car wreck, again, similar situation, sometimes that insurance company will help facilitate that for you. And then other times they're a little bit more hands off, and that's up to you to do some extra due diligence and ask questions of the condo association and the unit owners as to whether or not their insurance is going to cover it. But hands down, my first call would be to my own insurance agent to ask them how involved I have to be and to report this, because ultimately you'll want to make sure that the appropriate claim is made so your repairs can be well underway and you could be remedied, of course, for any damages that you've suffered. I would like to think, just another short answer is that the unit owner's insurance would be responsible for that. But again, I would call my own first and see what the next reporting step and or diligence step would be.
Your insurance company will probably contact the owner above and their insurance company, and that way you stay out of it for the most part, being a bad person.
That would be ideal.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be ideal. All right, great stuff. All right, thank you, Cora. Back over to Brad Lawler, Home Team Inspection Service. So, Brad, Ricky trying to decide if what his sister is telling him is true. Now, folks, this is something that I think everybody may be aware of. I have seen it. My wife, LaDonna, employs this along with her mother, Betty. And so this kind of it's true. So Ricky's wondering, the sister says, get cedar blocks that hang in the closet because being afraid of sweaters and other things being eaten by moths or silverfish. So Ricky is wondering, is that even possible in this day and age? Do you really need anything if your closet doesn't show signs of moths or silverfish? So this could be a very interesting question. Brad, where do you stand on these blocks, cedar blocks?
All right. I don't know that I have a position on the cedar blocks because I think that a cedar block is way too small to really have an effect on a full closet. Now, that being said, I mean, there are, naphthalene, the mothballs, that people bring out that leaves a terrible odor on all of your clothes and everything that it comes in contact with.
Yeah.
However, I do know that as a stored product pest, our clothing is damaged, wool in particular. I mean, I've had a suit that had a hole in it that the moth larva had eaten a hole. So it's a real thing. I just don't know that the little tiny blocks that you see are all that effective. What I will say is that if you're going to try that, same thing, with the cedar chest. The cedar chest is a little bit different because it's enclosed. But if you're going to hang those cedar blocks or use cedar hangers in your closet to try to keep that odor away, periodically, and I mean like once a year, do a light sanding of that to refresh the oils so that the smell kind of comes back. Because if you can't smell that cedar, it's not going to have a repellent effect. I know people that believe that peppermint oils will also do the same thing, cinnamon oil. So, I've seen people use reed diffusers, oil diffusers with those smells as well. But yeah, you're going to have to at least do something, with those little cedar blocks because they are small and they don't put a whole lot of aroma out in the air to scare anything off.
But if you lined your closet with cedar wood, then it's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Then do you sand the cedar wood once a year as well?
Well, you could, but I mean, there are a lot of those closets around town. When we're inspecting homes, we see them all the time that have completely cedar lined closets. I think the effect there is just because it's an overwhelming smell, just because the amount of cedar that's there. But yeah, anytime, don't seal it up. Never put a sealant on it. We've seen that where they've they put a varnish on it. That's defeating the purpose of the cedar. But yeah, light sanding probably will even help. Even older cedar closets come back.
Fascinating. That was a great question. I didn't even expect that.
That's interesting.
If you are thinking of selling your home, we have a free no obligation booklet. It's 150 plus, it's pages. There's a lot of stuff in there. You can get it for free. Send me an email, bob@wesellouisville.com, and put selling tips in the subject line, and we'll send it out to you. And on that note, if you're thinking, what does a home inspection entail? Well, our buddy Brad Lawler over at Home Team has a booklet as well. Again, all this is free, no obligation. And you can send me an email on that as well, bob@wesellouisville.com. Put inspection information or info in the subject line. I'll send it right out to you via email, so you'll have that to read through. We go back over to Cora Henderson, Pitt and Frank LLC. Cora, Philip says, Mom passed away 2 years ago. I'm sorry, Philip. and left him her home in the will. He says in this email that he sent to us, he says, I never had the deed transferred into my name. He's thinking maybe he wants to do that. How difficult is that to do, Cora?
Well, certainly the way in which an heirs may have inherited it sounds like, this was a testate situation with a will there, could change this rule of thumb. But long story short, I think doing a quitclaim deed is the best way to handle that. But there are certain things that we want to do. Again, assuming money's not changing hands, he's not buying out from an estate, anything like that. If it was willed to him, I think doing a quitclaim deed might make sense just to clarify the chain of title so that everybody knows, yes, the estate is not the owner. The decedent's name is still not listed on PVA. It's me. I am the owner. So I think that gains clarity. It's arguable as to whether or not that's legally necessary. And this could be a whole nother talk show right here, Bob, on decedent's estates. But I'm just going to use his example. And I think they had mentioned that, mom had passed a couple years ago. And so if that will went through probate and that estate was open and the estate closed, when that will's recorded and the estate's closed out, that vested the title at that time to the real property to him. So if he actually got it under the will, when that estate was closed out, it vested title in his name. So that's why I said it could be legally unnecessary, but there are so many different nuances with estates. Whether or not there was a will is one of them. How the will reads, if it did go through probate, so many nuances. It's very, very fact specific that I would love an opportunity to kind of help walk him through that. And that way we're giving really good advice. It's so hard to give general rule of thumbs in estates because the laws are pivotal depending on those fact nuances. So I think just getting with a professional, being able to lay everything out and getting a really good detailed look at it is going to provide the most accurate advice.
That's good advice. And I think anybody who has received property from a loved one, you may want to check to see if your name's on the deed or if not, and then also follow up with Cora or any attorney that you trust to see what the process might be to get it into your name in the way of a quitclaim deed. And that's something that we can follow up on a future show. A reminder, we do these videos that come from our radio show and a variety of other things. You'd like to sign up for, it's a free monthly video update, bi-monthly actually. Go to wesellouisville.tv. That's wesellouisville.tv. Back over to our buddy Brad Lawler at Home Team Inspection Service. Andy, and this is interesting. Andy says that he has read that when it rains and the temperatures are not too hot or too cold, that we should open up the windows of our home for at least a few minutes. He says he's read that rain brings an oxygenating effect and therefore purifies the air in our home. We should let that smell of rain enter the home, and when it rains, it smells like ozone. These particles clean the air in the home. All right, Brad, loaded question. Any truth to that? And you do those radon tests and all.
Yeah, so radon does vary with conditions. When you have a low pressure, like a rainy day, your radon level's a little bit higher. So that's one thing. As far as opening windows after the rain, the only point I'm going to make there is the idea of ozone. Okay, please understand that ozone is actually a component of smog. Okay, it is O3. So you don't want ozone in your house. And again, I know that there's mold remediators out there right now that are screaming at their radio as I say that, but ozone is an air pollutant. Okay. It does come in. It does have the effect, though, of knocking particles to the floor, to the ground. That's why remediators use it to clean up mold in a home, because the O3 will connect to the mold spore and it'll cause it to drop to the ground. Okay, so is it actually cleaning the air? No, it's just causing it to be weighted down and fall to your floor. So I don't know if rain has that effect. I think anytime you can get fresh air into your home, it's a good thing. I think that it's probably healthy to have your HVAC system serviced a couple times a year. Make sure those fresh air intakes are operating correctly, because stale air it does become polluted with as we're cooking in the home, as we're bathing, as we have steam generated. When we don't have that airflow, then the air does become more stagnant and unhealthy. So open the window. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Does it actually clean the air? I don't know that I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but I don't think fresh air is always a good idea in a home.
And you mentioned ozone with particles. That includes smoke. So if there's a smoky smell, you can add ozone filters, and that will help to mitigate that a bit.
Yeah, there's even products like, Ozium that is actually basically it's an aerosol ozone, and that's how it works. That, and it adds a fragrance to it too. But yeah, that's what ozone does. But I don't want people to think that ozone is actually clean air because it's part of smog. It's not.
So, gentlemen, what I hear you saying is in the event of any kitchen mishaps over Thanksgiving here in a
Oh,
few short days,
Yep.
it's good to open the windows
Open the
anyway,
window.
get some fresh air in.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
That's a good. The only smell they have not recreated successfully yet, folks, is the smell of a new car. Right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Don't we wish that would
Yeah.
be a spectacular if someone was able to invent that? All right.
Yeah.
We are out of time and in advance. And Cora, good point. We hope that your Thanksgiving coming up is a spectacular one and that you have great times with the families and however you end up spending it. And at least it's with somebody and you got great turkey. I'll be smoking mine on my big, I got smoking 2 this year. So the 2 different dinner sessions. So I'm
Delicious. I know where I'm
Nice.
headed.
Me too.
Yeah, you're invited.
Hope there's
Yes, indeed.
leftovers.
Brilliant, right? All right. Again, my thanks to Cora Henderson, Pitt and Frank Attorneys LLC. They do a great job at closings and a variety of other things. And you can tell Cora is very knowledgeable about what she and they talk about. 895-9900, their direct number. Also, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. And you can reach Brad for an inspection of your home or to get rid of pests like termites and the like. You can reach him at 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling your home, no home too big, no home too small, I would love to come out and help you. It's a free, no obligation analysis. We can talk as long as you want. You can reach me on my cell phone, and I work in Southern Indiana and Louisville and surrounding areas. 376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, hit submit. And if you want a free analysis of what your home is worth, go to wesellouisville.com and click on the top of the page, and that will get you the information you want. We're out of time. Happy Thanksgiving in advance, everybody. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.